The ultimate goal of the IMC plan is to deliver the right message to the right audience through the right media at the right time. So we're going to start discussing all of the advertising and promotional tools available to retailers as they build their IMC plan. And we can generally classify these tools into traditional media elements and non-traditional media elements. And so we're going to start by talking about the traditional media elements. And a group of these elements, we group them together in a category called advertising. And so when we talk about traditional advertising, we talk about newspapers. Newspapers are great for reaching local audiences. The benefit of newspaper is that there is a much shorter lead time on getting your message to the newspaper, to the customers. You can change your messages very often. So when we talk about newspaper, a retailer could really call up the newspaper a couple days before to place an ad, or they would just need a few weeks to get their weekly circular ready to go to distribute in that newspaper. So you'll see a couple different types of newspaper advertisements, the first being a newspaper ad in the actual paper, and the second being the weekly circular. You can create this. You can create these weekly circulars either as an advertisement with advertising special prices for a promotional period, normally a week, or you can create a coupon to go in with a group of coupons that are inserted into the newspaper. A second traditional media element is a magazine. The benefit of a magazine is that it does reach a national audience, and so a lot of times a lot of times magazine ads are used by larger national retailers. We see a lot of local retailers using newspaper. We'll see national retailers using the inserts or the weekly circular in the newspaper, but we don't see a lot of local companies, local retailers advertising in magazines. A downside to using a magazine is that there's generally a 2 or 3 month lead time for production. And so if you are a retailer, you have to have your advertising plan complete very far in advance so that you can get that ad, you can get that message and that creative to the magazine 2 to 3 months before it's going to reach your customers. So a lot of preparation comes in magazine ads. A third type of advertising through a traditional media is direct mail. It is thundering like crazy, so I'm wondering if it's going to pick up all the sound in the video here. All right, a third type of traditional media element is direct mail. And this includes any type of brochure or catalog or ad or printed material, really, that's delivered to the customer through the mailbox. Direct mail, a benefit of direct mail is that it's highly personalized. Customers appreciate mail that comes addressed to them. If you are a Kohl's card carrier, when Kohl's mails out their direct mail, it has your name printed on it and a coupon special for you. So those are ways to really personalize messages to the customer. They can also be non-personalized, which is fine too. We see a lot of generic direct mail. A downside to direct mail is that mailing costs are very high. It can be very expensive to put stamps on all of these. If you imagine Kohl's, how many of those postcards they send out each month, just the expense from postage there. Another downside is that customers sometimes classify direct mail as junk mail, and so they don't even look at it. They just toss it, and so they might miss out on your message. Television and radio are the last two types of traditional media elements that we classify into the advertising category. Television can be placed on national networks or it can be bought through local stations. So it is a great outlet for both national chain retailers and small independent local retailers. The benefit is that retailers can be very, very creative through both sound and visual elements. The downside is that it can be very expensive because in addition to buying the spot, you also have to produce the spot, which can cost retailers upwards of $400,000 for a well-produced, high-quality 30-second commercial. Radio is very good for the local audience. National retailers use radio as well, but you'll find a lot more local retailers on radio than you will on television. It's very easy to target customers through specific channels. If you understand your target audience, the people that you're trying to reach, you probably know generally what type of music or what type of talk radio they prefer to listen to. And so you can be very selective in the stations that you place your ad on. A disadvantage is that radio often becomes background noise. It becomes something that's on in the background, which can impact the customer in that they won't hear your message. And so it might be not the best way to spend a large portion of your advertising budget. So those are forms of advertising, and they're very traditional forms of advertising. We're next going to talk about some traditional promotions that retailers use in their establishments. The first being coupons. Sales promotions in general are incentives or excitement-building programs to encourage customers to purchase the product. So coupons really work to induce trial and repeat purchases. Coupons offer discounts on prices of specific items when they're purchased by the person who has the coupon. Coupons can be issued by both manufacturers and retailers. So you might see Kellogg's put out a coupon for their cereal that you can purchase at any retailer that carries this product. Or you might see a retailer put out a coupon like Yankee Candle, where you can come in and make a purchase at Yankee Candle and get a discount. Coupons can be mailed to customers. They can be delivered through the newspaper. They can be attached to shelves in the store. Does anybody remember when they were little kids walking through the grocery and pulling coupons out of those red holders? Coupons can also be attached to product packaging. I just pulled off a coupon for Clorox wipes off of my Windex bottle recently. So they can be attached to other products that you buy. They're great for inducing trial and repeat purchases because they do give customers a discount. Coupons do not build long-term loyalty, and a risk of coupons is that customers will become dependent on coupons. Think of a retailer, and I can think of two right off the top of my head, so I'm interested to see what you guys think of. Are there retailers who use coupons too frequently? Do you wait to shop at any specific retailer until you have a coupon because you know that one's coming soon? I'd be interested to know if there are retailers that have created dependent consumers. Another issue with coupons is we have to figure out how to allocate that cost. Is it a price markdown or does it come out of the advertising budget? So determining how it's expensed, because that can impact the retailer's bottom line. If it comes out of SG&A expenses or if it comes out of our markdown category. So a couple other types of promotions. Sales promotions. Samples is a type of in-store marketing that is a sales promotion. Samples are great for inducing purchases. Customers are known. Customers often make purchase decisions once they're in the store. They might have, especially for categories like groceries, they might have a general idea of what they want to buy, but they don't necessarily know what brand or what size or what quantity. And so offering them a sample can really induce a purchase of a specific brand of a product. Samples are very, very costly for the retailer, but they're one of the most effective sales promotions. Special events is another category under promotions. These can be in-store or out of store, but they are considered a sales promotion. And when we're talking about different events, when we're talking about in the store, oftentimes retailers try to build events around seasonal or cultural or sporting events or musical events or other types of events. So a lot of times bookstores will host events. They might have in this case, the Hunger Games at Barnes and Noble, they had the actors and actresses from the movie come in and sign the book, and so that got people into their store and incited a purchase of the book so that they could get it signed. Another example, if you remember, if you ever went to a bookstore for a midnight release of a Harry Potter game, or a Harry Potter movie, I'm sorry, that is a special event that the store hosted for the customers. Now, under special events also falls our sponsorships of sports. So sports is the area where we see the most sponsorships. A lot of times companies will buy the naming rights to arenas. For example, the Minute Maid Park, where the Houston Astros play. And actually, this is an example here. The company that I worked for, PPG, we sponsored sports. We did a lot of sports sponsorships and event sponsorships through this method. And so this is actually a sign in the ballpark on the interior of the ballpark to get attention from customers. So we see a lot of retailers sponsoring arenas. They sponsor games. Think of all the football bowl games. Can you name all of the retailers that sponsor those bowl games? Almost all of them have a retail sponsor. Retailers sponsor NASCAR a lot. You'll see patches on uniforms. You'll see brands on cars. And the very important thing here is understanding where your customers are going. What events are they going to, and how can you get your name as part of that event to reach them? So those are considered a promotion for this course. So that wraps up almost all of our traditional media elements. We have one more traditional media element that we're going to talk about in the next set of slides, and then we're going to move into talking about new media or non-traditional media.